Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Omud Yomi Shir. Shabbos Ein Zayin Amud Beis in the not the very top of the page. Tonu Rabbanon Hamoitzi. Hamoitzi Cholov, not Hamoitzi Lechem, but Hamoitzi Cholov. I just want to make a small correction, very small, about yesterday. Yeah, we mentioned the posuk Arozim Loy Amimu Began Elokim. So I said this parak in Cheskel talks about somebody who's very praiseworthy. The psukim basically speak with a lot of admiration about the person. It wasn't so clear that it's a good person. It talks about the king of Ashur. The king of Ashur, Assyria, was a king that started off very well because he listened to Yoina, and he's the one who was extremely good with listening to the Nevi'im, to the Astorah, to Yoina, taking it seriously. But and then he was like the best of the world, and very powerful. Hashem gave him bracha. Later on, however, it says that he became too gaivadik because it was number one tree amongst all the trees of Gan Eden, figuratively. So it got to his head, and then he became too arrogant, and then Hashem punished him by having Nebuchadnezzar, a very wicked king, take over him and conquer his land. So that's just a little bit about that. Let's continue about our topic of what are the shiurim of a yitzah. How big are different items, food items, when it comes to taking out on Shabbos to be mechayev the person who took them out. A person who takes an animal's milk, cow's milk, sheep milk, kedei gmia, as we said in the Mishnah, enough to swallow. Sometimes all the person needs is a bit of a gulp of milk for health, and that's good enough. I assume it's just a healthy thing. Cholov shel isha. When would people use a human being's milk? Yeah, a mother who's lactating. When do we say that we take out her milk? Veloiven shel beitza, the white part of the egg. How much would that be? Kedeliten b'meshipa shel kilo. Meshipa means basically to mix it with the kilo. Kilo is an ointment for the eyes. The ointment for the eyes would have some ingredients, whatever they are, maybe from herbs, and you would add to it a woman's milk or the white of the egg, right? And they're meshuf, they're basically mixing it with it. And that would be normal use. That would be normal use for a woman's milk to add it, and then the person would put it in his eyes. Now, that's first. Now, kilo. Now, when you already have the ointment itself, which is a mixture of whichever ingredients and the woman's milk, how much would be chayv? How much of that would you be chayv for taking out? In order to dilute that even more with water. Rashi says shteinayin. In other words, there are two stages. First, you mix it with the woman's milk or the white of the egg. Afterwards, you dilute it with water. They knew how much, right? You know, like some medications today, right? You can put some powder, mix it with water, right? You drink, whatever. So therefore, enough for two eyes. That would be to mix with water with the right consistency, the right the amount of viscosity to put in the two eyes. If chas v'shalom they're not well, that's a shear. By Rav Ashi, yeah, by Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi is asking a question: Kedei shifa or kedei achiza v'shifa teku? Rav Ashi is asking the following: let's say, yeah, you want to take the amount, yeah, that you chayav for taking out. Is it the shifa itself what's going to end up on the eyes, or also achiza v'shifa? In other words, let's say you take it on what we imagine would be a bit of cotton wool, right? And you put it on the eyes. So then some will stick to your hands, right? So there's there's a net amount and there's the entire amount. Which one do you go by? The entire amount. Let's say I need to have, I don't know, 3 cc. Yeah. So I would usually do 3.5 because half would stick to my fingers. It's sticky. So is it 3.5 that you chayev? Because practically that's what you need. Or do you go with the chashivus of the 3 cc and we ignore the part that sticks to your hands? Because although it's there, it's not so chashuv. So how do you judge that? Teku. So we don't know if the amount is just the amount that stays on the eyes, yeah, or is the amount that stays on the eyes and the bit that sticks to the fingers too. That's a shaila, and we remain with the thing. Dvash. What did we say about honey? So what is the minimum thing that people normally use honey for? And that is, okay, and that is dvash kidei litan alakosis. According to Rashi, what is the purpose for honey? To put it on the wound, a special, interesting kind of wound on the back of the donkey. Yeah, like a red kind of wound on the donkey's back, and that would be called kotit vash. Or Rashi brings another pshat. It's even in human's body, a wound that's on the back of the hand or on the foot, right? And the honey is what's that's medication for that is honey to put on the kotit, and that's the amount you have a small amount to put on the regular, I guess, on an average kotit. Some are bigger than others. I don't know. I guess the average one. I don't know. The Gemara doesn't tell me how big is a kotit. I guess they knew. I guess the donkey's backs and the kotits were more or less standard. So enough to put in the kosis, that is what you have. I don't know. I didn't see discussed how big is the kotit. Now, Tana, kidei liten al pi kotit, to put it on top of the kosis. And the question is, what do you mean on top, al pi? On top or maybe on the mouth of the kosis? What does it mean? By Ravashi, Ravashi is asking a question. Al kosis means apuma de kula kosis. Are you telling me that, yeah, let's imagine the kosis is, I have to do a bit of a 3D show over here, yeah? I don't know, a piece of paper or something. Ah, I have the bag. Yeah, no. Anyway, the kotit, imagine yourself like a little upside down cup, right? The kotit is like a bump. It's a wound. Yeah, it's like a blister. It's bumpy, right? So it has the top of it and it has the sides. And it's on one of the Rishonim, or somewhere I saw today, there's also a bit of redness around it. Imagine yourself like a bit of redness around, and then there's a bump with sides and the top. So now the question is again, how much honey am I chayav for? Kedeliten barava shel katita puma de kula kosis, on the mouth of the entire kosis, the roof of the blister and all the sides, as opposed to the red that's already on the donkey's back, right? Or oimei odilma amur shakama de kotit, or maybe no, only on the top. Musha means only the top here, on the first top, on the higher level. La puki hudron adeloi. Hudron means like mehader, round and round. So it now also excluding the parts round it. Yeah, in other words, I'm not sure again what to learn this here, but the shaila is, yeah, how much are you chayiv? Are you chayiv for just the minimum to cover the top, which I guess is the more painful, the more of the center of the makkah is the top of it. And if you took dvash enough to cure that, you're chayiv. Or maybe no, you only chayiv when you cover the top and the sides. The sides of the wound, yeah, boom, it sticks out, all the sides of it. Only then you chayiv, that's much more, right? Maybe only then you chayiv. I don't know if it's a shayla in medication or normal of the people. But that's what the Gemara teku. No, what do you hold? No,
What's called kashu?
That's good for the question. In other words, yeah, in other words, I tell what I think. I'll tell what I think as I'm talking to you guys, holy people. Could be like many times Chazal basically have like a sliding scale. In other words, if you want the minimum amount, you probably cover only the top. You want 5-star treatment, you cover the whole thing. You go to the general doctor, he covers the top. You go to the private doctor, cost it from Hadassah and Karim, 1,000 shekels, so he covers all sides. Maybe that. Shalis Kilo, how far do you? There's treating and there's treating well. So where does Allah draw the line? Maybe that's just an idea in Lomdus here that you can say, yeah, maybe that's a shayla. Take, because we don't want to say shalos but mitzias. The mitzias is a mitzias. The shaila is, where does Chazal draw the line within the mitzias? That's always a question. Oh, now we're going to see a lot of Agadita over here. Today is a day, a little bit of a chofesh, Agadita. Omar of Yehuda. Omar of Yehuda. No, Agadita is, Rav, I think B'Shem the Maral, I heard from Rosh Hashanah, Agadita is le'egod, is what connects you to Torah. It can get very dry when you learn halacha. The aged, le'egod, is to connect, to bind. That's le'egod. What binds your heart to Torah is the Agadita. Then you feel also more mekusher, you're bound with the Torah. Yeah. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Anything Hashem created in this world, there's not even one thing that He created for nothing. Yes, we're talking about very annoying mosquitoes, v'chule. Anything in the world has its purpose. Yeah, even the weirdest, the most annoying things, as we're going to see examples. Bara shablul. Shablul is a snail. Yeah, it's a kind of snail. I saw it's also in modern Hebrew, and I also saw it in the Targum of Rashi. Yeah, snails. What are snails good for? I mean, snails are cute for children to play with, but there is a higher purpose. Boas shablul. What do you do with the shablul, with the snail? Lekotit. Apparently, if you run out of honey, you can take a shablul and you put the shablul itself, manicha olav. Doesn't say even you crush it, like by other things Rashi says. You take the shablul, you put it, maybe alive even, you put it in the kosis, and that's good enough. Maybe sucks out the bad stuff. I don't know. Boas zvuv, flies. Why are flies created? Is it a good question? Yeah. So listen, there's a purpose. Letzira for hornets. In other words, let's say Chas v'Shalom Saru was bitten by hornet. It's dangerous. The hornets bite. Apparently, Rashi says Letzira. What do you do? Koitish zvuv. You grind the fly and you put it there. You make an ointment out of the dead fly and you put it on the bite of the hornet. Don't tell your wife about it, but that's the way to heal. That's a medication. Yotush, mosquito, lenochosh. Wow, people are bit by snakes. They can take the yotush, yeah, one way or the other. The Rashi doesn't say, but that helps, either crushed or not. I don't know. Take the yotush for the snake bite, and it helps you. Venochosh, what were snakes created for? They're horrible. Lechafofis. Yeah, lechafofis, Rashi says chafofis is a type of boil, shchin mitzrayim. You have a type of boil. Afterwards, we're going to see exactly how that works. How do you use the nachosh? That will be explained later before in the Gemara. The smamis le'akav. Smamit in modern Hebrew means something else, but smamit over here is a spider. Is a spider. It's a spider. Rashi says aranya, which is in Spanish, so they knew it right away. It's a spider la'akrav. Somebody who's bit by a scorpion. Then the smamit, we're going to see later on, the scorpions and the spiders are not friendly. We view them both as as dangerous, like criminals, but one hates the other. So the smamit is good for the akrav. You take the spider, I guess you crush it. I recommend out of the two options, I don't know. You put it chas v'shalom in the akrav bite of the scorpion, and it works. I just want to point out again, don't try it at home. No, seriously, a lot of the Achronim say not to try Chazal's medications nowadays. Some do, some don't, because it can create chilul Hashem. Because nishtanu atvoim, the teva changed. By the way, nishtanu atvoim is not an Achronish idea. The Tosfos in V'dezor daf kaf of chaf base, something around the cuffs. Yeah, with base in the middle. Remember, Tosfos says nature changed. Conditions changed, the food changed, the air changed. Even Goyish scientists will tell you human beings today are very, very different than in the past. So what Chazal gave us is refuah. We're not in the spiritual level, that's for sure. So we don't try these medications necessarily. But, well, whatever, don't. Weiter. Frag the Gemara, Hechi Avid Lei. And really, Hechi Avid Lei is about the snakes. How do you deal with the snake? How would the snake help you against the boils, against the shchin? Says the Gemara, you bring one black snake and one white snake, and I hope you kill them first, and you boil them. You boil them, doing China. You boil the two snakes together, the black and the white, filet, and then you smear the bodies on the person's body, the dead bodies of the snakes, the cooked bodies of the cooked snakes. You smear it on the body of the person, mishafshef on the boils and no boils. Okay, next time there's any skin problems, that's the way to go. You boil a black snake and a white snake. Yeah. Chamisha Emoisen. There are 5 types of fears, and all the common denominator between all 5 is what? That those things are unexpected, that the strong one is scared of the weak one. It's all in your head, it's all in your mind, it's all in the heads of Hashem, which means, let's see. In general, the small, many times weak animals or weak people, they scare the stronger people, right? They create some kind of fear, right? The emes mafgia al ari. Mafgia, says Rashi, it's a small animal with a big noise, and the animal, the lion hears the animal, and it sounds very, very scary. So before the animal actually comes to confront the lion runs away already. I actually saw a video of that. It's unbelievable. That is in reality. You see a whole bunch of young lions, and there's a small animal that screams like a meshugana, and it screams that it attacks them. It looks very aggressive, and it's a tiny one against 5 lions. I saw the video, I promise you. And the person who showed the video, he commented on that Gemara. And you see it in reality today. Mamash what Chazal say. Yeah. Emes lamita shel Torah. Yeah, so the small one, he screams at them like a meshugana, and all 5 lions get a bit wary and they run away because he projects strength. What?
It's called the honey badger.
Honey badger? Yeah. Okay, wow. Okay, very good. Yeah, wow. Amos Yatush Alapil. The Yatush, the mosquito, and Apil, what's his name? An elephant. So Rashi says he gets into his trunk, into his nose, drives him crazy. Right? Yatush Alapil. Yeah, I have a story about that too, if you have time afterwards. I saw something like that too. Amos Smamis ala akrav. Smamis again is the spider, and it scares the scorpion even when it's alive. It gets into his ear. It gets into his body inside, yeah, it gets into him and it goes crazy. Yeah, it bothers him. And then what's the other one? Amos snunis alanesho. Snunis is a small, it's like a sparrow. It's a small, nice animal, bird, and it scares the nesher. Nesher is an eagle. The eagle is much stronger. Rashi says, "Nichneset tachas kanfe nesher umeachvim prisas knofov." It goes into the wings of the eagle, and it stops it from spanning its wings, from spreading its wings. It bothers it, like human beings, we're also stronger than mosquitoes and drive us nuts. So you see the strength of the smaller one over the big one. Emas kilbis olivioson. Kilbis olivioson. Again, kilbis is a small animal. It's a little treif animal, which is mentioned in the Zohar a few times, remember the Gemara. And the kilbis scares off the livioson because it goes into, livioson is huge. It's a whale. The whale is the biggest sea, the biggest sea creature, right? The biggest creature in the world, actually. And the kilbis goes into Liviosa and drives him crazy, and he's scared of it. So it shows it's all in your mind. You can look at Klal Yisrael, we're weaker than all the goyim, and we managed to survive. That's the Musar Haskell. Yeah. Omar Vido Marav. Omar Vido Marav, micro. What's the pasuk that supports what we just said? How do you know it's true from the Torah? Where does the Torah relate to what we just said? It says Hamavlig shoid al ez. Oh, Mavlig, lahavlig means to be stronger. Stronger. Who's stronger than who? The shoid, Rashi says, is the shadud, the one stolen from. Shadud. Yeah, the shadud means that he was stolen from. He's a victim. Hashem is mavligim over the strong one. Hashem is mavlig, makes the shadud one, the victim, the potential victim, stronger than the strong one. So that's how you have it in nature. And people also, sometimes a weak person, but he projects a lot of fear, right? He emanates fear, and then stronger people are scared of him. That's where it goes. So it's all in your mind. It's all, if you have bitochen in Hashem, then you're not scared of anybody.
Because Hashem helps the weak,
And Hashem helps the weak. That's a very nice idea. Hashem helps the weak. Very good. Hashem helps the weak. Exactly. Hashem gave the weak animals, or maybe even weak people, sometimes koyach to overcome the bigger enemies. Very good. Yeah, like the Chashmonoim and the Yevonim. Right, very nice. Rabbi Zera Ashkach Rav Yehuda. Rabbi Zera found Rav Yehuda the Vakai Apischa de Bechamua. He was standing by the door of his father-in-law. The Chazia, he saw he saw that in simple English, he was in good mood. He was in a very good mood. Good mood by Namoiro. Wow, it's like something very cautious, very connected to Hashem. And the Baimine Kol Cholole Alma, he knew that was a very opportune moment. That was a good moment, a good chance. If you'd ask him anything about anything that happens within the space of the world, the Halal, the space of the world, Hava Omarle, he would tell him. You know, now he's like in a especially good mood. Now can even tell him, not just Torah, also in Yonechol, even in Yonechol with the Ashkofa of Torah. It happens sometimes, right? You have a rov you only hear shir from, and sometimes in a special good mood, he tells you more about, nature, v'chule, and things like that, society, with the hashkofa of the Torah. That was the right moment. So he asked him a whole bunch of questions. Amarle, he asked him, easy mazgan bereisha vadar imri. Why is it that the goats, they always walk ahead of the line? They are the first ones to walk in the herd. The hadar imri, and the sheep, they go later. Right? The strong, they go first, right? And the sheep, they go afterwards. They walk afterwards when they're led by the shepherd. That's where it goes. Okay? Omar Le, so he answered, you know why? That's how the world was created. Meaning, what happened in the creation of the world in Genesis? The at the beginning it was dark, the Erev it was dark, and then it was light, which means most izim are black or darker, and most of the kvasim are light, are fair, are light or brighter skin, or not skin, wool. And therefore, that's why it goes. The Maharsha has a big arichus over here. Unfortunately, they have enough time to go into it, but this is all deeper stuff, all kinds of soidas. But that's I only managed to hop a little bit of that, but this I didn't go into. My time megalion. Why is it that the sheep, their back is covered by the alia? The alia is the tail that covers the back. Mashenkin the izim, the tail is like a dog. It's up, it goes upwards. Why is that so? Why did Hashem create them like that? He answered, Hani de bechasinan minayu mechasian. Those that we cover ourselves with their wool, they also are covered. It's like a siman, mida keneged mida. They're covered themselves and they cover us. So maybe it's a schar. We cover ourselves with wool, so they too are covered. The more tsanua, it's nicer. Also, the aliyah is very tasty. Goes to the mizbech. I mean, in times of mikdash. Those we don't cover ourselves with, they're megalion. Ooh, we had it a few times in the Masechta already. Yeah, that semer shel izim, it's not wearable by people. It's not called semer. We've seen at least twice, if not three times. Semer shel izim is called noitzo or sak. Sak and noitzo, which means the izim, my father also told me, their semer is way too coarse to be worn by human beings. It's sack, unless you want to go to a tainis with a sack, like they do in Ramabet in Matzmut. But most of the time, yeah, you don't wear sack clothes, right? And because they don't cover us, because we don't use the wool, they're not covered either. Kilo, some kind of, reciprocating in Hashem's world. My time, third question. My time, agam lezutar gnuvte. Why is the gnuvte, why is the tail of the camel so short, so little, in relation to his body? Answers the Gemara, answers of Yehuda, kisi or bisi, because he always likes to eat the thorns. The Gemara says it a few times, also later on, because he eats thorns and is a thorny place. If he had a long tail, then all the time would get tangled in the thorns, right? So therefore, Hashem created everything in a perfect way. Every human being has its perfect environment just for it. Another question for Aviuda, my time, why is it that the bull or the cow, why is it that they dafka have a longer tail? Why do they have a long tail? And the answer is Mishum Dedayer Be'agmi, because they live in a marshy area. Now, Agam doesn't mean a lake. They live in marshy land, and that's full of what? Full of mosquitoes and full of flies. Baki. He needs the karkesh. He needs to wag its tail and they do it all the time, the cows, to scare away and to chase away the flies. You go to cow sheds. They do it all the time to get rid of these flies. Hashem created each animal so perfect down to the last detail, exactly with the environment that it needs. And why do you need the flies? Oh, that was before, as a refuah. My time, also another reason the flies exist, because flies are Yetzer Hara. It's a good mashal. When the fly keeps coming again and again and again, you should think that's how my Yetzer Hara works, comes again and again and again. You always have to do tshuva. My time, kana de kamtza rekicha. Why is it that the thorns, or in modern language, that's called the feelers? Why is it that the feelers of the kamsa, Rashi says kamsa either means a type of locust or kamsa means an ant? Why is it rekicha? Why is it like soft? They don't have, Hashem could have made it look hard, like the bigger animals, the feelers. Why they're like softish? Why is that? Mishum the daira bechalfi, Rashi says in the Arava, they live in a place there's a lot of trees, a lot of wood, in the woods. And so what? The kasha nadio misavra. Let's say it was hard. Well, it wouldn't be harder than the tree. If it's hard, it would bump against the tree. If it would like be rigid, and boom, it would break. It has to be flexible because the ant would bump all the time into trees, into hard objects. And if it would be hard, it would crack and fall away. And then it would be blind. Because those animals, they need the feelers to function. We know that. The Shmuel says, "Haiman debai the listen of the kamsa." A person wants to blind away the kamsa, those insects. Lishlefinu lakarne, he has to take away the horns, meaning the feelers, and then they don't function anymore. That's reality. Another question. Oh, that one I did see, Marshall. Here we have a little bit of depth, Baruch Hashem, at least that one I saw. My time, I timra de tanegusa midli leela. We all know the human beings and most animals that have eyelids. How does it work? The top eyelid covers the bottom. Apparently, the Tarnagolas, the chicken, the rooster, that family, it's the other way around. The bottom eyelid covers the top. The bottom eyelid goes that way. The cover is the whole eye, the eyeball. And the question is why? Why is the timra, the eyelid of the Tarnagolas, midli le'ela, goes up? the opposite from us. So he answers the diary adape because they live, they always live amongst people. Many times they live on the dapim, they tend to jump, I think especially when they go to sleep, we saw the end with Mehmet, they jump up the shelves. Now we're talking about home environment, and they jump on the shelves of different rooms or the area. The i'ail kitra misavra. And sometimes the smoke, people like to cook. It's evening time, it's supper time, and if the smoke would come up into their eyes, the other way, the eyelids would still penetrate. They have to have more protection in the lower part of the eyes because the smoke keeps coming underneath their body. And therefore, they have to have maximum protection, dafka in the lower part. Maharsha says, that I saw the Maharsha. Please forgive me for not offering more depth, but at least that I saw. He says something very nice. He says Tarnagolus is Klal Yisrael, and he brings proofs to everything. The Tarnagol is Klal Yisrael, and he says that we always look up to Hashem. Midli le'ela is like we are always to Hashem. We never cover ourselves this. We don't look down. We look up. You know why? Because we live in a dapa. Dapa is like a very dangerous place. Like the daf is like the unstable place, the daf, the shelf, and the kutra, he says, is the golus. The smoke is the golus because the bris ben abisarim is when golus was officially kicked off, was inaugurated, bris ben abisarim. And then it says oshon, the smoke. And then I thought it's so true. What's a smoke screen? The smoke is like it makes you not see the reality. You go to Golus, you go to Chutzart, so many shtusim nowadays in the world, even if you're not exposed to it, right? It's like a smoke, all the shtuyot and all the nonsense of the goyim, right, left, and center, they're like smoke in the eyes, they confuse you. So we have to have our eyes closed, not look at the shtusim of the goyim, and only look up to Hashem. All the shtusim and ashkofas and gashmius and pritzes and money, we don't care, we just have to look up to Hashem. That's, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, weiter. Now we're going to translate all kinds of words in Aramaic and explain the depth of the words in Aramaic. And then I also saw the Maharsha or somewhere else. I saw that they say Aramaic is not as holy as Lashon HaKodesh, but the Cheni Aramaic has its value of Kedusha because it's a Targum, and Yedush Namik Revecha Targum, and the Targum is closely connected to Lashon HaKodesh. Yeah, it says that Malach Hashar, they don't speak Aramaic, they speak other languages, right? We saw that few, Vidal from base, right? So Bekitzer, there is value to Aramaic, and now the words would prove that even the words in Aramaic, as opposed to words in English, they have logic that's to do with the Hebrew meaning. Yeah, the two languages are, Aramaic is the runner-up for Lashon HaKodesh. You got the silver medal, not the golden medal. For example, that's going to be a good lesson, a good class in Aramaic. Dasha, what's Dasha in Aramaic? A door. Why is Aramaic? Why is Dasha Aramaic for door? Derech Sham, through there. Dasha, through there. You go in. That's your way through, in and out of the house. Darga is like a ladder or like a step. Derech Gag, Dargag, Darga, Derech Gag. It's the way to get to the roof, right? Maskulisa is basically a vessel in which you have the kutach. Kutach is a kind of, I just want to see if it's the, I was right. Maskulisa is basically, kutach? Kutach is mentioned in many places, in Psachim and in Chulin. Kutach was like a milky kind of dish, a milky dish, which was also chometz. It's mentioned both the B'cholov and also in the sugis of chometz. And the people, and would like be, people would take it for long journeys. Yeah, like you learned when I wasn't here, like you do ibud when you go for a long journey. So maskalisa is basically the food you take when you go for a very long journey for a place where there's no hechsher. Yeah, and you keep toivel, you keep dipping your food into that milky substance, yeah, that stays there for a long time. Why is it called maskulisa? Motai tichle do. When will that finish? Which means, according to the second shot of Rashi, he says two pshat, we don't have much time. Rashi says the second shot, it looks endless. People keep it for such a long time. They keep eating the same thing again and again. Would that ever finish? Matai tichle do. When will that stuff actually come to an end? Next one, beita, a house. Instead of bait, you say beita. Why? Bo ve'etiv bo. Bo ve'esi bo. Come sit in it. Beita, you have to invite people to your house. Bo, come sit in my house. Bikta is a small house, like a shack, right? Or like a cabin, a small place, a bikta. Bei Akta, because it's a small place. Akta is narrow. It's a house that's Akta that's narrow. Kufta, Kufta could be all kinds of things. Rashi says Kufta is like an upside down piece of wood, yeah, or machteshet, yeah. Goylem etz also yeshiva. It's like basically a very primitive kind of chair. Yeah, the people just put like a bucket upside down and you sit on it, and it's meant to be sat on. A piece of wood that's meant to be sat on. Why is it called why is kufta called kufta? Kuf vetiv. Turn it upside down, this like a barrel kind of thing, and sit tiv livni. Livni are bricks. Why are bricks called livni? Lebnei bani. When you build a house with bricks, you want it to be for bnei banim, leveina, for the children and the grandchildren. You build a brick house, you want generations to come. Hutza. Hutza is basically a small and insignificant kind of no, of fence. Why is this called a fence? It's a fence made out of just, like bamboo, like koitzim, lulovim. It's a fence that's made out of, a very weak kind of material. Lulovim or thorns. Why is it called hutza? Chatzitza. Because it's chatzitza. It's nothing but an interruption. It's chatzitza between the two houses, but not more than that. We see it at the beginning of a Basra. Chatzva. Chatzva is basically a bucket. Why is the bucket called a chatzva? Shechoitzev mayim in a nahor. It's very interesting. What's lachtzov? To mine, to dig. When you bring water from the well, the nahor looks like you're digging. You're like digging into the water. So chatzva is lachtzov, to dig in, to mine in and out. That's chatzva. Now kuza, kazeh. Kuza is a small kli. Kuza, says Rashi, is a small little kind of kli, yeah, which is muat v'kal, and therefore give me what's kazeh, just that and no more. Rashi says this is a kind of amount of water or drinks people give each other for free. So kuza means you wouldn't mind giving me your kuza, your little eggnog of mashke. You give me kazeh. It's just zeh, not more than zeh, and then you'd even give for free. Weiter, shutisa is shtisa. Shtisa means shtisa is hadassim. And hadassim, the Gemara says in Ksubas, the Dameroim or Tanoim, they would dance in front of the kala with hadassim. They look like shtutim, kivyochol. It looks as if the person is a shaita, is mishtat, is making a bit of a fool of himself with those hadassim. Meshikla, mashi kula. Meshikla is a big bucket to wash yourself, and that's what it's called, mashi kula, mashi to wash. Mashi to wash your entire body, take a big bucket on your head and the entire body. Mashenka mishkilta is mashakalta. Mishkilta is a small one, and that's a nice feminine little one for the kala. The kala, or a choshev woman, she has her own little thing to wash with, something like more chic and feminine and small to wash herself. That would be mashkilta, kalta, the kala. Now, I'm sure everything here is deeper meaning, but that's Pashup Shad. Asita is chasirta. Asita is the pestle and mortar. I don't know which one's the bottom one. Asita is the one where you put the grains inside. And it's called asita because like chaserta, it's missing. There's a hole inside. The hole you put the stuff. Meshenken buchna bo ve'akena. I was so happy when I saw that one. Buchna also in modern Hebrew is like the stick. Buchna is in modern Hebrew. Buchna is used as a cylinder for machines. Yeah, buchna bo ve'akena. Come and I'll hit it. Yeah, I'm going to hit it. That's buchna. Levusha. Let's talk now about clothing items. Levusha lo busha. Levush, the top levush of the person. Let's say wear a jacket, and underneath you have something dirty or you have something creased. What do? You put a sweater. Loy busha takes away from the busha, from the shame. Glima. Glima is even bigger and more of an outer garment. Shenasa boy kigoylim. It looks like kigoylim. It looks shapeless. In other words, when you wear the very outer garment, the glima, yeah, it looks like a goylem. There's no shape in it. Goylem is like raw material. Yeah, you don't see the shape of the body. It looks like just one thing. Yeah, one boom. And therefore, it's called glimta, is the gegoylem. Gulta, gali ve'esiv. Gulta is like the chasim, you have kapite. Gulta basically, Rashi says, is a lavush that's long, right? And therefore, and it's nice and elegant. You always see chasim, right, when you sit in the bus, They pick up the carpet and then it's it. You, they, whatever, right? So that's gulta. What's gulta? Rashi says gali ve'itiv. Pick it up, megale, and then sit. Very nice. Now puria. Puria is a bed. Why is the bed called puria? Sheporin v'rovin alea. That's what you do the mitzvah, per verivia, in the bed. Bor zinka. Bor zinka. So now, 1 second. Bor zinka is a bor. In other words, it's a well. Its water has already dried out. It's a dry well. So why is it called that? Bor ze noki. Bor ze noki. This bowl, this pit is already clean and dry from water. Sudra, Sod Hashem Le'irav. Oh, here's Musar. Sudra, we see it in many times in Kiddushin, in Daf Ches, and around Daf Lamed Gimel. It says there, a Sudar would be like the Sfardi Rabbanim, the Mekobalim, they wear like a scarf over their head. Yeah, and that was a very choshev thing to do. Talmud Chacham has to have his hair covered, his head covered. The Gemara Kedushin says you don't go out to the street with Talmud Chacham, got like an extra cover, a sudar. Why is that called sudra? And the answer is soid Hashem li'reov, sudra. Soid of Hashem to those who fear Him. Yeah, those who fear Hashem, they wear that sudar. It's like soid Hashem. Or maybe also look more tsanua, more secretive, like Baba Sali, right? You don't see the face, and mainly he doesn't see what's outside. Even better. It's like more private, more sodi, more of a sod li'reov. That's a sudra. Weiter, a padna. Now, padna is a palace. Why is the palace called a padna? A pischa dein. Oh, a padna means this is the door, meaning the door of the melech, of the king. Everybody wants to go there. Either they have to because the king is a judge, and people are invited or summoned to din, or people want to admire the king. Right? Rashi says, Lemishpat or L'sharis HaMelech, to serve the king. A padana means, apa, this is pitcha. A padana, a pischa dein. A padana. A pischa, posach, pay of this one. That's the door. That's the door everyone has to go to. The door of the Melech, maybe alludes to Kodesh Baruch Hu too. Tono Abonon, another one, which again, I know there's something of the Maharal about it, but I don't remember. Tloisha calls manshemazkinin. There are three animals that the older they get, as opposed to human beings and most animals, the older they get, musifin gvura. Wow, they become stronger. No white hair, no falling teeth. Yeah, the dafka stronger and stronger. Veiluhen, these are the three: dag, v'nachosh, v'chozir. A fish and a nachosh. A nachosh is a snake, and chazir is the chazir. You know what a chazir is. So nachosh and chazir, we know, are very negative animals. Nachosh represents lashon hara and yetzer hara. Chazir is chazir. I don't know about dag. It says dagim pritzi. It says that fish are porots. I don't remember where. The Gemara says dagim pritzi. So maybe these animals are so gashmi, the older they get, the stronger they get. If you're spiritual, you prepare yourself to your death, and you get older. Yeah, and it shows also why is the hair white? White is midas chesed rachamim, right? You treat your younger kids usually with more rachmanis than the older ones, right? You become older, whiter, more forgiving, more flexible, more this, unless you mamish a diehard, excuse my language, typish, yeah, but I'm saying people develop with years, so the body becomes weaker, and the ruchnis becomes stronger. Even by some goyim, I'd like to think, they think about the end of life, a bit of a more of a, but Dag, Nachash, and Chazir are so gashmi, they present such gashmius and roya fakert. The older they are, the more gashmi they get. I think so. That's my own pshat. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is an idea. Am I allowed to be mechadesh? Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Such amazing chaverim I have here. Now I feel a little bit bad because I'm. Okay, let's continue until we're kicked out. Weiter. Okay, we're still okay. Yeah,
15 minutes.
Oh, good. 15 minutes, great. Okay. Shemen, are you guys okay? We'll try and, yeah. Shemen kidelosuch ever cotton. Oh, so we saw the shemen, how much shemen are you chayav if you took out on Shabbos? The oil is enough to be sach, to smear, right? To anoint, to smear on the smallest organ of the body. So Rashi says, other Rishonim, I don't know, the Mishnah say it's a toe, the small toe. Rashi says it's one knuckle, one part of the finger. Did you see about the toe? Because I know there's
it's on
etzba, doesn't it? Toe, right? I know. But there's another shot. So bekitzer, lo sochever cotton. Oh, now the question is obviously the smallest aver, right? People use oil for smearing, right? Okay, fair enough. And sometimes the person has a wound or dryness on the small aver. Let's adjust here on the top of the pinky. that halachically is called a separate organ. Each knuckle with a part of the bone, with a separate bone, is an aver. So this one is the smallest part of the body. Okay, fair enough. If I take oil enough to smear that, I'm already chayiv. The question is, well, I am 53 and I'm, a little bit big, but question is, how do you judge? You go by babies, by adults? What kind of small aver? Of who? Of a baby, of an adult, of a teenager? That's a shaila. Okay, so now, Amr de Rabbi Yanai, in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yanai, they said, Shemen kedelosuch aver koton, shel koton ben yoima. Very, very big chumrah. The smallest aver of the smallest child, of a day-old child. Smallest of the smallest. Okay, fair enough. Okay, makes sense. Sometimes people want to smear on the very little baby. He was just born, he needs care. So because that's done, we're machmir to the lowest normal shear. Yeah, the smallest aver of the smallest baby. A baby was born, he has something on the finger, you want to smear. Say that. Mesivi. However, there's a challenge from a brisa. It says in the brisa, shemek delosuch ever koton. It says shemen enough to smear on a small organ. The cotton ben yoimoy, and also a cotton ben yoimo. And besides that, a cotton, a little child, which is a day old. How do you understand that connection? What does it mean? My love, aren't you trying to tell me Aver cotton the godol? It's two separate statements. It's not and, it's either or. It's Aver cotton the godol. It is the smallest aver of the average godol. I don't know how big, but the average guy, but an adult, the smallest aver of an adult, the aver godol shel cotton ben yoimo, which is the same size as the big aver of the little baby. Yeah, the big aver. So I didn't know. I have to admit I was pressurized today, so I'll open the article. And the article they brought B'Shem Eroi Mesod, a sefer, didn't hear about so much, maybe once in my life, that the biggest aver, I guess they base themselves on the Mishnah in Aulus, I think, is the thigh. The part between the abdomen and the knee. I think that's the biggest aver. So the smallest aver of the adult is equivalent to the biggest aver of the day-old baby. You may say it's not the same. So the Meroi Mesoda, I just quoted an article, says something very cool. He says it's true, but the baby needs less because the baby's body is very, very smooth. So it needs less oil. If I have some issue with my thigh, the baby's thigh, uses the same oil as my little pinky, because if I use oil on my pinky, I need to rub a few times because my skin is old. I need more Nivea cream. He needs a tiny bit of Nivea cream, and that so it balances. It's the same thing. But in any event, we're not saying, however, whichever we look at it, let's keep our eyes on the ball. This is against what we said, B'Shem Rabbi Yanai, right? We don't say the smallest of the small. No, we say the smallest of the big, which is equivalent to the biggest of the small. And not the smallest of the small. That's not true. Yeah. Amr Chadav Rabbi Yanai. So the Rabbi Yanai people, they answer back. The Shiva boys from Rabbi Yanai, they say, no, you're misreading the brisa. Hachikamar. That's what the brisa says. Shemen kedelosuch ever cotton shel cotton ben yoimoy. No, it means both. The brisa can be read as losuch ever cotton. The means description, and you know which cotton I'm talking about? A day-old baby. It's not either or. It's end to end. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? They're saying no. Ever cotton, the cotton ben yoimoy, and you know which person I'm talking about? The youngest baby. So the brisa is good with Rabbi Yanai. Lema ketanoi. However, the Gemara wants to say that this is machloikes tanoim. What we just said b'shem Rabbi Yanai, we're attempting to say it's machloikes tanoi. Why? It says shemek delosuch ever cotton ve cotton ben yom b'divrei Rabbi Shimon Lozo. Okay, that's the same as the brisa, right? Which was also a bit ambiguous. We had two pshatim. Yeah, we mentioned both ever cotton and a young baby, Rabbi Shimon Lozo. Now says Rabbi Nosson Omer kidelosuch ever cotton. Right? That's not so clear. Rabbi Nosson says enough to smear a small aver. Now, how do you interpret the words of Rabbi Nosson? They're like left hanging in the air. My love, I'll tell you what they mean. I'll explain to the machloikis. That's a machloikis. The Rabbi Shimon Lozer saw aver cotton, shell cotton. Rabbi Shimon Lozer, as we already agreed before, when he mentions both aver cotton and a small person, he means this and that, the smallest of the small. Now, the Rabbi Nosson, which purposefully left one of the conditions, he only says one aver cotton, the godol, or aver godol, the cotton. He says, no, I'm saying he's on purpose saying halfway. cotton, either the smallest pinky of an adult or the biggest ever of the little baby. Aval ever cotton shall cotton min yaim loy, but the smallest is small now. So very good. So let's jump there, Pashut. So the first opinion of Shimon Lozo is like the Rabbi Yanai, the smallest of the small, right? Very good. Shem was there. And the second one, Rabbi Nosson says no, either the smallest of the adult or the biggest of the young one. Yeah. So maybe it's Machlokes Tanaim. Okay. And he's taking sides. The Rabbi Yanai took sides. Says Gemara, no, bad news, loy. The Kula Alma ever cotton, the cotton min yoim loy. Oy. Nobody believes in cotton of the cotton. Wow. And nobody believes in Obianai. Oy vavoy. Elamai, welcome miflagi. And this is what they argue about. Rabbi Shimon Lozo Sover, ever cotton the godol, ever godol the cotton and yoim kiadodininu, which means the original way of reading the brisa. The brisa is very like, is very like broken. It's two separate conditions, not connected. It's either or, right? Ever cotton of the godol, ever godol of the cotton, the thigh of the 1-day-old baby, and my little pinky over here, they are the same. Kiadodinu, they are the same, and you have on each one. Rabbi Nosson Sava, ever cotton the godol in. Yeah, the Rabbi Nosson says no. The ever cotton of the big one, yes. Ever godol the cotton and yoim eloi. Interesting. But the biggest ever of the baby is too big already. You're not chayv it. Not chayv means because it's too much. You don't have to come on to that. Okay, my havi Allah, but nobody believes in the smallest of the smallest. Yeah, they all believe that it has to be the smallest of the adult. The question is, the biggest of the baby, is it also the same or not?
Question is?
I don't know. Right. I don't know. I hear you a very, very nice question. I don't know. My havi Allah, I hear nice comment. My havi Allah, what's the maskon l'maisa? Oh, Baruch Hashem, Rabbi Yanai stays good. Tashma de Tani Rabbi Shimon Lozo Oimer. There is another brisa which is loud and clear. All these brises are not so clear. Is it and? Is it or? Now the brisa says loud and clear, the cotton of the cotton. Very good. And therefore, that is the halacha, the smallest ever of the smallest baby you chayvim. Like the B'yanai. See you on Sunday. We may be moving to Mamlez, really. Belineder maybe might have to check. We'll see. But I'll let you know on Sunday. Sunday, we're still here. And then we have to see Blineder meet Sunday, and hopefully other people will join. And I'll update you, Blineder. Shkoyach, you're welcome to join the meal of the Mishmar. Very, very nice meal here in Avos Shalom. Thank you to our YouTube people who watch us. Thank you. You're all welcome to join us for the meal. Thank you for coming. Amazing. Shkoyach. Shkoyach to you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Shkoyach. Thanks.